Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to our Ask Me Anything session. I'm Swarn Dhiman, hosting the session on behalf of AECCI. I feel honored to have with me the expert speaker, Ms. Maha. She is from the commercial division from Al-Khair Legal Attorney, Jordan. And discussion today will revolve around the legal and practical steps for expanding your business to Jordan. Before we start, let me give you a brief about the AECCI, our guest organization, and the guest speaker also. So this AMA session, this is being organized under the key platform, virtual B2B platform of AECCI. This is a key program by Asian Exporter Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And this is known as AECCI. AECCI is a prominent chamber and we are proudly recognized by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. So we are working proactively for the promotion of international trade, and we keep organizing such activities for the betterment of the trade and of course for the knowledge sharing purpose. Today's session is held in collaboration with one of our esteemed international partner, that is Al-Khair Legal Attorney Jordan. So I would also like to mention that we have already signed the cooperation agreement with the trade and legal experts from over 40 countries now. I can say 42 countries. So this is in fact a proud to have such experts in collaboration. And today's session, as I said, this is in collaboration with Al-Khair Legal Attorney from Jordan. This is a law firm with over 3 decades of experience, offering both commercial and litigation services under one roof. Al-Khair brings strong international expertise, particularly in cross-border legal matters, making it a valuable legal partner for foreign investors. Their services include personalized guidance on company setup, regulatory compliance, and commercial transactions, aimed at helping clients grow and navigate legal challenges in Jordan and the wider Middle East. So it is my pleasure to welcome our expert speaker, Ms. Maha from the commercial division of Al-Khair Legal Attorney. Welcome, madam. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dhiman, for the kind introduction, and good afternoon to everyone joining us today. It's a truly pleasure to be here with the Asian Exporters Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and to have the opportunity to speak with such a dynamic and forward-looking network of exporters and business professionals and decision makers. I'd like to begin by sincerely thanking the AECCI team for organizing this session and for inviting me to share legal and practical insights on doing business in Jordan. As mentioned, my name is Maha Hanieh. I'm a practicing lawyer based in Amman, Jordan, and currently serve as an associate in the commercial division at Al-Khair Legal Attorneys, a full-service law firm that handles a wide range of matters across corporate, commercial, regulatory, and employment law. My focus lies in assisting companies with market entry, corporate structuring, compliance, cross-border transactions, licensing, and contract negotiation, particularly for businesses expanding from outside Jordan and abroad. In the past few years, I've had the opportunity to support companies from various jurisdictions, from Europe, the GCC, and South Asia as well, as they navigated the legal requirements of establishing a presence in Jordan. These experiences have included everything from registering companies, advising on regulatory approval pathways, and structuring investments, to drafting local commercial agency agreements, employment contracts, helping clients interact with regulators and public authorities. One thing I've learned from all of this, and what I always try to emphasize to our international clients, is that while Jordan provides a stable and investor-friendly legal environment, success in the market isn't just about formal compliance. It's about understanding how the legal framework works in practice, how different government entities operate, how timelines unfold, and where coordination between regulators is required. These are all the things you don't see in the law books, but that matter the most. The
Yes.
good, yeah, the good news is that uh, with the right preparation and local guidance, most legal and operational hurdles can be managed quite smoothly. In fact, many of our clients have found Jordan to be a strategically valuable hub, not just for accessing the domestic market, but also for serving clients across the MENA region. So, in today's session, I'll be walking you through the practical legal steps involved in entering the Jordanian market, from company registration, licensing, and banking requirements to sector-specific consideration, government incentives, and some of the regulatory pitfalls that foreign companies often overlook. So my goal is to offer you not just legal theory, but real-world insight drawn from the recent cases, actual procedures, and lived experiences. Uh, I'll also share a few examples along the way that might resonate with your business goals. So
Right.
I'll do my best to address the topics in a clear, structured, and actionable way. And I hope this session will provide value whether you're just beginning to explore Jordan or already planning your expansion. So with that, Ms. Dhiman, I'd be happy to proceed with the
Yeah.
questions whenever you're ready.
We are expecting an insightful session, and this is very nice to know about your introduction and your working. And of course, this is very important for the new entrants and the people who are already trading with Jordan, and now they are thinking of expanding their business. So this is going to be a very important session for each one of them. We have framed our session, our questions in that way so that it should be beneficial to each and everyone, whosoever is
Yeah.
watching us or would be watching us in coming days.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Miss Hanieh, right? So thank you again for joining us, and once again, I would be welcoming you on behalf of AECCI. We would like to begin with the key questions to set the stage.
Of
So,
course.
Miss Hanieh, to begin with, could you please walk us through the primary legal considerations that foreign businesses must take into account before entering the Jordan market?
Of course. Thank you for that, Ms. Swarn. And I'm very pleased to address this because it forms the foundation of any successful market entry strategy into Jordan. When a foreign business considers entering the Jordanian market, the first legal consideration is understanding the type of legal presence that is most appropriate for the business's objectives.
Right.
Under Jordanian law, foreign companies may enter the market through several vehicles. The most common being, first, a limited liability company, LLC, which
Right.
is ideal for most small to medium enterprises as it allows for flexibility, limited shareholder liability, and full foreign ownership in many sectors that are not restricted. The second one is an operating foreign branch. This structure is available only if the parent company has been awarded a contract or tender by a public entity in Jordan, such as ministry, municipality, or state-owned enterprise. To establish such a branch, the company must submit the official award letter as part of its application to the company's control department.
Yes.
Important to note that this branch will be valid only for the duration of the awarded contract, and the branch's legal existence is directly tied to the duration uh, of that specific project. At present, the establishment of operating branches without this award is generally restricted to banks, which are subject to special regulation. In all other sectors, an award is a mandatory condition for this branch type, and this requirement is a key consideration for foreign enterprises and interested in bidding for public works or service contracts in Jordan. And it's something we regularly advise clients during the tender and post-awards phases. The third option can be a non-operating foreign company, or what we call is representative office, which is used for market research, business promotion, but cannot engage in commercial activities or generate revenue in Jordan. Again, foreign investors must be aware of regulation number 77 of 2016, which governs foreign ownership restrictions in Jordan.
Okay.
Like Jordan welcomes foreign investment in many sectors. There are still specific industries such as wholesale trade, land transportation, and some consultancy services where foreign ownership is capped at 49% or even entirely restricted.
Okay.
The Companies Control Department and the Investment Commission can offer clarity on which activities fall under this restriction. So due diligence is essential at the pre-licensing stage.
Okay, right. That is very
Yeah.
necessary.
Mm. And third, the investment incentives framework under the Investment Environment Law, number 21 of 2022, which offers notable benefits to foreign investors, including exemptions on custom duties, reduced income tax rates in development zones and free zones, of course, and guarantees regarding non-confiscation and repatriation of capital and profits. However, to benefit from these incentives, the investors must formally register with the Ministry of Investment, submit a detailed business plan, and in some cases, hire a minimum number of Jordanian employees. And additionally, it's critical to consider corporate governance requirements. For example, all companies must maintain accurate accounting records, submit annual audited financial statements, and comply with anti-money laundering and KYC laws. So if the company is providing services such as financial consultancy, legal advisory, medical services, etc., it may be subject to licensing by regulatory bodies, such as the Central Bank of Jordan, the Ministry of Health, and in addition to the general commercial registration.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to mention the real estate ownership is regulated. Foreign-owned companies wishing to acquire property in Jordan must obtain prior approval from the Council of Ministers, particularly if the land is to be used for operational purposes.
Okay.
And
Yes.
from a labor law perspective,
Yes.
before hiring staff, whether local or expatriate, the company must register with the Social Security Corporation, ensure that all employment contracts comply with Jordan's labor law. If the company intends to bring expatriates, additional steps are required, including securing work permits and demonstrating that the skills required are not available in the Jordanian labor market. And a very practical point that's often overlooked when forming a company in Jordan, especially for foreign shareholders or foreign investors, notarized and legalized documents must be submitted through the Jordanian embassy in the investor's country of residence. So this includes board resolutions, powers of attorneys, and identity documents. The process can take several weeks if not planned carefully, so it's essential to start early. Like to summarize, entering the Jordanian market is a legally structured but welcoming process, provided that business first select the appropriate legal vehicle, verify sector-specific restrictions, leverage available investment incentives, prepare for local compliance and regulatory reporting, and of course, secure proper licensing and immigration documentation for operation. Because we've seen many clients succeed in Jordan by taking these steps seriously from the start, and I'm happy to expand further during the session.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hanieh. This was very important information, I would say, regarding the investment laws, ownership restrictions, and everything you have explained in detail. I'm sure people listening to us they would be benefited with this information. And I would also like to add that Al-Khair is there, your firm is there to help the people who want to expand in Jordan. And I'm sure you are well equipped to serve the foreign investors there or foreign businesses who are entering your country. I'm sure you are well equipped to
Of
serve
course,
them.
we're welcoming them all. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. And so let us move to our next questions. So I would like to know, um, there would be some specific government incentives or administrative support that foreign investors can benefit from in Jordan. So can we discuss something about that, the incentives and how they can
Yeah.
have this benefit?
Of course, absolutely. Actually, Jordan offers a number of legal and administrative incentives designed to attract foreign investors, and I'll be happy to walk you through them. I'll break this into three key areas:
Okay.
investment incentives under the law,
Okay.
institutional support, and economic zones. But before I do that, I'd like to share a quick real life example from our recent work because I think it illustrates the importance of understanding both the law and the practical side of entering the Jordanian market.
Right.
Just a few months ago, our firm advised a European client in the IT and data services sector
Okay.
who was looking to set up a presence in Jordan. They wanted to register a company quickly and benefit from the tax incentives available for knowledge economy businesses. Now, under the Investment Environment Law number 21 of 2022, businesses can qualify for a reduced income tax rate as
Okay.
low as 5% if they operate in development zones or meet certain criteria related to job creation or export of services. We assisted this client in registering in King Hussein Business Park, which is one of the recognized development zones.
Okay.
And thanks to the streamlined process through the Ministry of Investment, we were able to register the company, apply for an investment card, help them onboard their first few employees, all within just a few weeks. What was really valuable to them, and I think this is important for anyone listening today,
Yes.
was not just the lower tax, but the clarity and transparency they experienced in the setup process when working through the formal channels. So we also helped them draft compliant employment contracts and ensured their office lease terms aligned with the conditions for incentive eligibility. So this experience really underlined how crucial it is to plan carefully and take advantage of the institutional support available in Jordan, especially through the Ministry of Investment and the relevant zone authorities.
Yes. Yes.
So coming back to the broader picture,
Right.
I'll start with the first legal investment incentives under the Investment Environment Law. So Jordan's current legal framework governing foreign investment is primarily the foundation of the Investment Environment Law, which replaced the previous investment law. So under this law, foreign investors are granted national treatment,
Okay.
meaning they are treated the same as Jordanian investors, except in sectors specifically restricted by regulations like defense, certain mining sectors, and some forms of retail.
Okay.
The law offers customs and tax exemptions for projects that meet specific conditions, particularly those that create a significant number of jobs, are located in underdeveloped areas, use local resources, or promote exports. Fixed tax rates and reduced custom duties may apply to qualified investment projects based on sector and location. And also, investors can benefit from zero or reduced income tax rates in certain sectors, such as IT services, R&D, medical services, hotels and tourism in remote areas. And the law also provides for legal guarantees, such as the right to transfer profits and capital abroad in freely convertible currency, protection from expropriation without fair compensation, the right to resort to arbitration for dispute settlement as per agreement signed with Jordan or through legal courts. Uh, Also, one of the most important players in the Ministry of Investments was established in 2021 and as a one-stop shop for investors.
Okay.
So, this Ministry of Investment assists foreigners with licensing, permits, approvals from various ministries, provides investment promotion services and aftercare,
Right.
hosts a single window for company registration and business licensing to simplify administrative procedures, and can issue an investment card which facilitates interactions with government entities, including residency and work permit procedures. And investors additionally can seek support from Jordan Enterprise Development Corporation, which is JEDCO,
Okay.
offering technical and financial support to SMEs and exporters.
Okay.
And Jordan Investment Fund Law, which allows also for large strategic investments in infrastructure, transport, energy, often through public-private partnership.
Okay.
Again, also the special economic zones and development areas. So foreign investors can also consider setting up their business in designated development areas, zones, and free zones, which offer even more attractive incentives. For
Right.
example, King Hussein Business Park, Aqaba Special Economic Zone, which called ASIZA. They offer reduced income tax as low as 5%, exemption from sales tax and customs duties on imported materials, streamlined registration and licensing procedures, full foreign ownership up to 100% in most sectors, availability of infrastructure and logistical support. And ASIZA in particular has its own local, legal and administrative system and offers significant flexibility for trade, logistics, tourism, and industrial activities. So many international companies and regional logistics hubs operate there in ASIZA, which is Aqaba Special Economic Zone.
Okay.
And again, while these incentives are available, I would advise foreign investors to work with a local advisor to assess eligibility and navigate the application process. Be prepared to provide a business plan and meet minimum capital or employment threshold for some incentives. Ensure full compliance with local reporting obligations to avoid cancellations of incentives.
Right.
And yeah, and to conclude, like Jordan does offer a range of legal, tax, and operational advantages to encourage foreign direct investment. What makes the difference in practice is knowing how to access those incentives efficiently and structuring your entry strategy to align with them.
Okay. Great. This was again very informative kind of thing you have shared regarding the tax reductions and especially your special economic zones that you have spoken about. So this is good that the foreign investors, they have the chance to enter your economic zones also. And I'm sure people would be listening to this session again and again so that they can have the concrete, because you are telling everything in detail. And I really think so that they need not to refer
Yeah,
to other sources
definitely.
now after hearing this, after listening this particular conversation. So thank you, Ms. Hanieh. And let us move to the next question. This particular question, because we have already spoken about the kind of entities they can have there. And of course,
Yeah.
you have spoken about the compliances, regulatory requirements also. But then too, I would like to know what are the necessary steps to set up a company there in Jordan? And secondly, means without setting up their company in Jordan, how they can trade from their own, from their home country with Jordan. That also I would like to know. Means what kind
Oh,
of assistance can you provide in this particular second option when people are not entering your country to establish their office there, rather while sitting here in India, how they can trade with Jordan?
Okay. Thank you so much for this important question. Company formation is often the first and most critical step when entering any new market, and
Yes.
Jordan is no exception. So, actually, the process is clear and manageable, but it must be done properly from the outset, especially for foreign investors. Again, to provide a comprehensive answer, I'd like to walk you through this step by step, starting the type of companies, which I already mentioned in the beginning, then focusing on the required documentation, approval process, and post-registration steps.
Yes.
So, most foreign investors in Jordan establish a limited liability company. This is most common structure, offering limited liability to shareholder and flexible corporate governance.
Mhm.
Now, it's important to clarify that Jordan allows 100% foreign ownership in many sectors. However, there are restrictions under Regulation number 7 of 2023, which limits or prohibits foreign ownership in specific sectors, such as engineering services, retail trade, or publishing. So, before we begin, we always check the investor's intended activity to see if it is restricted, partially open, or fully liberalized, like it may be fully closed. So, in sectors that are restricted, a Jordanian partner may be required, or in some cases, it may be completely closed to foreign investors. Once we determine the activity is allowed, we move on to preparing the incorporation documents. Now, this is where many delays happen if the requirements are not clearly understood from the beginning,
Mhm.
because the required documents depend on whether the foreign shareholder is an individual or a legal entity. Like, for example, for individual shareholder, we need a power of attorney authorizing a representative in Jordan to handle the incorporation process. This POA must be notarized locally, then legalized at the Jordanian embassy in the investor's home country,
Okay.
or apostilled if the country is party of the Hague Apostille Convention, but of course Jordan is not. So it
Right.
should be legalized at the Jordanian embassy in the investor's home country.
Okay.
We also need a passport copy that is similarly legalized.
Okay.
For corporate shareholders, the requirements are more extensive because we must submit the certificate of incorporation, a copy of the commercial register or articles of association, a board resolution authorizing investment in Jordan and appointing a representative, and the power of attorney authorizing a representative in Jordan to handle the incorporation process. All of these documents must be notarized, translated into Arabic by a certified translator in Jordan if they are in another language, and then legalized as well.
Okay.
So once these are ready, and this part can take 2 to 3 weeks depending on the investor's country. So we always advise that to start preparing these documents from the beginning. When these are ready, we then move to the next stage, which is submission to the company's control departments. As we have a power of attorney, so we can act like the legal representative can act on behalf of the company,
Mhm.
submit all documents to the company's control department. This department is under the Ministry of Industry, Trade, and Supply. So at this stage, we include the Arabic translation of the company's name, the objectives of the company, which must be carefully phrased to avoid future licensing issues,
Mhm.
uh, the names of the shareholders and their capital contributions, the appointment of the general manager or authorized signatory, and if an LLC company is established, appointment of an auditor is required also.
Okay.
So the CCD, which is the company's control departments, reviews the application, and if everything is in order, issues initial approval. Once approved, they assign a national number and register the articles of association. So now registration is just the beginning.
Okay.
To operate legally in Jordan, you must complete several post-registration procedures.
Yes.
First, we open a Jordanian bank account, sometimes challenging for foreign shareholders
Mm.
due to compliance checks and FATF regulations. This may take 2 to 4 weeks generally.
Okay.
Then deposit the company's capital in this bank account if applicable, because this is only for the LLC. I'm mentioning about LLC because it differ for the non-operating or operating foreign company differ from these steps. So I'd like to highlight that these steps are for an LLC
Yes.
company.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we obtain a professional or commercial license from the Amman municipality or other local authority based on your business address. And we should register with the Income and Sales Tax Department. This
Mhm.
is required even before commencing operations. Register with the Social Security Corporation
Okay.
if you intend to hire employees. If the business is in a regulated sector like telecom, education, health, or construction, you must obtain a sector-specific license from the relevant ministry or authority.
Okay.
So, special case for the operating foreign branch for companies that are not establishing a new entity, but rather operating under a foreign parent company,
Okay.
there is an option to register operating foreign branch or a non-operating foreign branch. Non-operating foreign branch, as I mentioned, cannot generate revenues in Jordan. It's
Okay.
only like for to have a representative office to but it cannot generate revenue here in Jordan. The operating foreign branch, as I also mentioned, is restricted now only for the bank unless the company has been awarded a contract or tender by a Jordanian government entity.
Yes.
And we have handled this structure for clients awarded infrastructure or public works tenders, and it requires careful coordination with the Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Public Works, and sometimes Ministry of Investments. Again, then the after post-registration steps, there are compliance and annual obligations.
Okay.
So even after registrations, companies must maintain compliance by renewing license annually,
Okay.
submitting audited financial statements to the CCD if required, filing annual income tax and returns and sales tax declarations, updating the CCD in case of changes the shareholding structuring or address or management. So these steps can lead to penalties, or if these steps are not taken, can lead to penalties or even company suspension. So renewing the license, submitting the audited financial statements, filing the annual income tax, or obligations that must maintain compliance by.
Okay.
And I'd like to give real example, like to share a quick world example.
Yes.
We recently assisted a client from Asia looking to launch in a technology support center in Amman. They initially wanted to register an LLC with 100% ownership, foreign ownership, but their commercial objective included IT consulting, which required a license from the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
Because of that, we had to first review and reward their objectives to align with the TRC approved categories, then liaise with the TRC directly to ensure they would issue the operational license once the company was formed.
Okay.
So, had we not done this upfront, they would have registered a company that couldn't be licensed. And
Okay.
this happens more than it should. So, planning ahead is absolutely key.
Yes.
Like to summarize, what while setting up a company in Jordan is legally straightforward, there are many procedural layers, especially for foreign investors. The most successful investors are those who prepare all documents correctly from the beginning,
Yes.
understand which licenses and approvals are required for their business activity, and work with a legal advisor who can guide them through each step, from registration to full compliance. We always recommend reviewing the registration process, not just as a legal formality, but as the foundation of your market entry strategy. I hope this gives you a clear picture, and I'd happy to elaborate further during the session if needed, of course.
Yeah, and this was a detailed registration process, in fact, and of course, this is a clear picture, and means I'm sure people would be getting the right idea now. And this is again, I would insist that very important to have some local legal advisor with you, who can take you ahead with all the, because it becomes very difficult when we are not
Yeah,
aware of the local means regulations, law, and all. So it is better to take the advice or the support from an expert. And I would really insist my people, my trade community, my trade members to please take your help in this procedure if
of
they are
course.
looking to
Our,
invest there in Jordan, or if they are looking to expand their business in Jordan. So they should come ahead and establish contact with you.
it's
Then
our pleasure to assist them, of course.
yeah, and I would like you to discuss little means more in detail about opening the bank accounts in
Oh,
Jordan. That is also one of the means mostly people face challenge in
yeah,
setting up corporate bank
they-
accounts here. Yeah.
yeah, they do, of course. And actually, this is a very practical and necessary question
Yes.
because, frankly, while company registration is relatively smooth in Jordan, opening a corporate bank account is often the most difficult and time-consuming step for foreign businesses.
Mhm.
So, let me start by confirming the issue is not unique to Jordan. It's a
Right.
global challenge that has become even more complex in light of international regulations related to anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing. But Jordan has a strict banking compliance process, especially when the shareholder or the signatory is a foreign national. So the basics, when can you open a bank account? In Jordan, a corporate bank account can only be opened after the company is legally registered and has received its certificate of registration and national number from the company's control department. You will also need the authorized signatory appointed by the shareholders, usually through a general manager resolution, and a valid license issued by the Amman municipality or relevant licensing body.
Okay.
So no bank will open an account unless these documents are in place.
Okay.
So Jordanian banks also follow strict KYC procedures and will require
Okay.
legalized copies of passports for foreign shareholders and signatories, a legalized company structure chart if the shareholder is a legal entity, proof of address for each person involved, and the company's articles of association and license, of course, and a detailed explanation of the company's business activity, including source of funds, expected volume of transactions, and counterparties. These are for the KYC and due diligence. So
Okay.
banks go even further sometimes and request financial statements from the parent company, personal bank references, or even CVs for the ultimate beneficial owners, especially for startups with no operating history. So, one practical tip here is to prepare all of this documentation in advance, especially the source of funds narrative, because without that, the file will not move forward.
Okay.
Yeah, the challenges for foreign shareholders, especially those from jurisdictions considered high risk or unfamiliar to Jordanian banks, the process can take several weeks
Yeah.
or even months. Like in our practice, we've seen some clients European investors face repeated requests for clarifications or supporting documents. One common issue is the requirement that the capital contributions come from the shareholders' own account, not from a third party, because some clients have asked whether the capital can be sent from an affiliate or from a friend's account abroad, and the answer is no. So the banks will reject such transfers due to AML concerns. So always ensure that the remitter's name exactly matches the name of the shareholder listed in the CCT registration.
Okay.
And again, practical tips, I would advise that the bank selection, because not all the banks in Jordan operate the same way. Some are more flexible with startups, while others prioritize large clients or multinational firms. So our advice is to start early, even before the company is registered, by visiting 2 or 3 banks and requesting their corporate account requirements. Some of the banks that foreign clients typically use in Jordan include Arab Bank, Capital Bank of Jordan, Bank Al-Ittihad, Cairo, Amman Bank. Each of these has corporate teams who handle onboarding, but the timelines and internal procedures, of course, differ. And another very practical tip, if the authorized signatory is a foreign national, they must be physically present in Jordan to sign the account opening documents at the bank. There is no way to do this remotely, unless, of course, there is a power of attorney for a legal representative in Jordan to sign on behalf of the company. So we always advise foreign investors to plan a visit once the company is registered.
Okay.
Again,
Yes.
I'd like to comment about the currency and banking operations,
Yes.
because most corporate accounts in Jordan are opened in Jordanian dinar, but banks also offer multi-currency accounts, usually in USD and Euro. However, receiving international transfers can be subject to an additional security, especially if the sender is not previously declared or expected.
Okay.
So some businesses operating in Jordan also experience delays in receiving payments from abroad, particularly when the incoming transfer is flagged by intermediary banks. This is very common when dealing with clients in high compliance jurisdictions like the US or UK. So if you're setting up in Jordan to act as a regional support or marketing office, it's important to coordinate with your finance team in the home country to ensure transfers are compliant and predictable. To give you a real story, we recently assisted that a tech support company from Pakistan setting up in Jordan. They are Pakistani, have a company in Saudi Arabia. The company had completed registration within 10 business days, but the banking process took over a month. Why? Because the bank needed a notarized proof of the shareholder's source of funds,
Okay.
and the documents are required legalization through the both Ministry of External Affairs in the home country and the Jordanian embassy there. There was also questions around the company's business model and its expected income in Jordan. So we resolved this, of course, by preparing a detailed business plan in Arabic, attaching the legalized documents and organizing a meeting between the client and the bank's compliance department. And only after that did the bank approve the account. So this shows that the local legal support and through thorough preparation make a huge difference.
Yes.
And of course, once the bank is opened, companies must comply with Jordanian financial regulations, income tax filings, sales tax registration, social security registration, even if the company hires just one local employee,
Okay.
and maintaining proper bookkeeping under Jordanian accounting standards. We always recommend that the new companies appoint a local accountant or auditing firm within the first month to ensure compliance with the income and sales tax department.
Okay.
And to summarize, you must be prepared for a detailed KYC process, gather all legalized documents in advance, allow 3 to 6 weeks to complete the account opening, and appoint a local legal and accounting advisor early on, and to be ready to explain the business model clearly to the bank. This setup is often underestimated, but in Jordan, no company can function without a working bank account, and delays here can stall operations entirely. And I hope this gives a clear overview of challenges and how to overcome them.
Right.
And happy to elaborate further if time permits, of course.
No, again, on each and every point, you are giving a detailed view. And of course, this is very important that you have said people should study the banks. They should research on this while, means careful steps should be taken by choosing their bank. And then, of course, documented recourse. That is very important. You should be well prepared with your documentation part. And then, of course, finally, taking the help of the local advisor. This is again and again, we are insisting, not because the purpose of signing these cooperation agreement is just that we can facilitate the trade. Our
Yeah.
people and the foreign country means they can be well in coordination. Whatever help you seek while sitting in your home country, you can take from these experts. That is our idea, and that's why we are conducting such sessions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I think with this, Miss Hanieh, this was very insightful. Truly, for me also means being into international trade for such a long time. Now I'm into this for 25 years, and this was an amazing session. And I really like your spirit to detail each and every aspect. So means going beyond the questions and going beyond the procedures,
Yeah,
telling each
because
and
I think
everything with the story. That is wonderful.
Yeah, of course, because I think sometimes, of course, we cannot complete everything only in 1 hour session.
Yes.
Like there are a lot of details that the foreign investor must be aware of before entering the Jordanian market.
Yes, yes. And
And
that
what
is
I
the reason. Yeah, yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, well, I hope that what I've explained, like, give them an idea of and let them choose the best and make the best decisions in how entering the Jordanian market.
Yes, yes, yes. And I would also like to add, Ms. Anne, see, we have created the virtual B2B forum, and under that initiative, only this particular session is being organized. So, what we have done there, each one of our foreign collaborator, they are having their accounts there. Like you are also having your account on a virtual B2B forum. So whenever
Mm.
you get time, you can just show your availability. Means these days of the week, I can be free for a one-to-one session
I
with
will,
you.
of course, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
So
I'm happy.
this is how the people can get directly in touch with you. Our idea is to give you the complete privacy to you and to our business partner, so that they can have a direct conversation, a free conversation, and moreover, they can have
I'd
a
like to give them that.
trusted contact for future. Whenever they need, they can come to you for taking your support.
Of
So this
course.
is our idea. And so you can please go through that virtual B2B form, your account, and you can update your available slots, so that people who would be interested, they can request for an appointment, right? And with this, I think I need to thank you. So thank you, Miss Anne, on behalf of all the Indian trade community and my trade members, and of course the AECCI management. And I would like to extend your sincere thanks for sharing your valuable insights, and this was a wonderful session. I mean that when I'm saying, I actually mean
Thank you
that.
very much, Ms. Dhiman, and thanks to the entire AECCI team for hosting this session and for the kind coordination throughout. It's been a pleasure speaking with all, like with you and with anyone that will be hearing us. And I truly hope that the information shared has shed light on both the legal framework and practical consideration of doing business in Jordan.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
like while as we discussed, while the regulatory system in Jordan is relatively investor friendly, proper planning, legal due diligence, understanding sector specific requirements are essential for a smooth entry into the market. Like from company setup, licensing to taxation, banking, each step has its nuances. Like it's always advisable to seek tailored advice for your specific business model. And I'd like to thank you so much for your insightful questions, of course, and your engagement. Your engagement is what makes session like this valuable.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sparing the time and being with us today. And I encourage everyone to connect with you for future insights and for any kind of trade service that may need from you. And wishing you all the best. And we hope to
Before,
collaborate for some session again very soon.
before we conclude, I'd like to leave you with you one final insight that is
Yeah, sure.
importance of understanding the business culture and the value of strong local partnership in Jordan.
Most
Like,
welcome.
while the legal framework is clear and investment friendly, the reality is that successful market entry often hinges on relationships and trust. Like whether it's dealing with local suppliers, negotiating lease agreements, resolving unexpected challenges
Harish?
with public entities, having a reliable local contact, whether legal, commercial, or strategic,
Oh,
can make all the difference. Like I've seen companies with the best legal setups struggle simply because they lacked local insight into how negotiations unfold or how things work behind the scenes. On the other hand, businesses that took the time to build the right relationships while staying compliant were able to move faster, avoid costly misunderstandings, and of course grow sustainably. So my recommendation would be don't view market entry as a checklist.
okay.
View it as a relationship building process supported by sound legal advice and culture awareness.
Yes.
And of course, should anyone that will be listening to us require any additional guidance, my firm and I would be happy to support you through any stage of your expansion process into Jordan.
Yes, yes.
And
And
again,
yes,
thank you for the opportunity and to be part of this. And I wish all the continued growth and success in your international ventures.
yeah, thank you so much. And this was something really important that I missed to ask, though I had
Mm,
in my mind. See, this
mm,
is very important to be aware about the local culture, local beliefs, everything. And for that matter, your local expert plays a very important role. So
of
I
course.
encourage all my people to get in touch with you, and your number, your contact, your profile is available on our website. So the people who are watching or who would be watching in coming days, they can simply get in touch with you, or through AECCI virtual B2B form, they can simply book their slots to meet you and can have a detailed guidance.
And
Thank
I
you.
would be happy to support them, of course.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's nice
Thank
connecting with you.
thank you again.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you, Ms. Dhiman. Thank you for this opportunity and have a great day.
You too have a great day. Very nice connecting with you. Bye bye.
Bye.